Hi, my name is Dr. Aaron Chapa, and I own Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. You can visit our website at justlivewell.com, where we have just updated our website, and we are utilizing this website as a resource for you to help get well, stay well, and be well this season of 2012 coming up, and just the future that's coming our way. Obviously, healthcare is a big deal, and one of the things that we're finding is people don't understand why what we do is so valuable. So we wanted to see if we can instill a core principle and understanding why functional medicine is a critical first step in all our lives. We start with the Parthenon of Health. This is a 7-pillar approach to balancing, strengthening, and building the foundation of human potency. This Parthenon of Health, basically, after we build a foundation, you can obviously build a strong house on. Well, this design is a place wherein possibilities are realized, healing is actualized, thinking changes, forgiveness comes more easily, new wisdoms are more profound, new leadership steps up, and spiritual fulfillment is addressed and handled. One of the things that we want to be able to do is go into and teach how we're helping construct this pillar foundation in patients' lives with chronic disease processes that are diagnosed medical disorders, and how we've been able to support their body in the upstream approach to see their body come back to a human potential that they had whenever they were in their 20s or in their teens or before they were diagnosed with whatever disease they had. So this maximizes the human potential in the elegance, power, and design of greatness. People facilitated this way equals results in healing, and we are a result-driven practice. We are a result-driven society. We want to be your doctor, and we want to teach you how we use our techniques to build a health, whether it's a cold, a flu, whether it's a digestive complaint, a mood swing. We want you to understand that we don't cure or diagnose anything. We are moving above that, where we start dealing with core principles that health is built on. So we then move into this core physiological principle. This is huge because these stressors are all around us. People come to us all the time and say, well, Doc, I don't understand. How is it that all of a sudden I'm having these issues whenever for the last 10 years I didn't have those problems and my lifestyle was the same? It's not like I just did something new. It's a hard thing to wrap your head around, that all of a sudden the straw broke the camel's back. That even though you've been smoking for 30 years, now you've got heart disease. Or even though you haven't been sick in 8 years, you wake up with cancer. This story happens all the time. And these stressors are all around us. These are infectious stressors. These are food allergy stressors. These are chemical and metal toxicity stressors. These are environmental pollutants that we're breathing in or drinking or putting on our food, the way our food is processed and grown. There's a lot of different avenues that these stressors play on. And then you go into the emotional stressors, and all of a sudden the sky's the limit, and you start seeing, well, yeah, everything does start summing up, and now you get what's called the case of the suddenlies. And the suddenlies are whenever the hormone or endocrine system starts to adapt to these stressors, but it doesn't do it in a functional, effective manner. So you start to see, once this adaptation process takes place, you start seeing glandular fatigue, or an imbalance in the way the system handles stress or handles what it used to handle in a timely manner. It's not handling so fast. So you start to get sluggish and tired. Now you start getting a little digestive complaints, or now you don't have enough energy to play with your kids when you get home from work. Well, that's because you're out of gas. That's the depletion of the organ reserves and the nutrient mineral substrates. When you don't have building blocks, you can't build anything. Well, your system is no different. Look at it like a house. Without good wood, you're not going to have a stable framework. Without a solid foundation, you're not going to have a, a, a core to build your life health upon. And this depletion leads to reduced homeostatic mechanisms. Well, this is basically the inability to register a response that you used to register fine. So when you were a kid, this was getting an earache or getting a cold or getting a flu or getting a fever. Whenever you're not getting these processes to take place, now you know that your body has lost the ability to show you where the problem is, because now your check engine light's not even going on. That's like going to the mechanic and then basically calling you and saying your car's fixed, but what they did was just take the light bulb out of the check engine light behind the dashboard. So the light's off, but now you've got these underlying issues evolving and mutating behind the scenes with nobody registering a Mayday response for help. Well, once this goes on long enough, you start getting a stress response. These are glandular activities that normally become hyperfunctioning, meaning they become more active in the beginning. Well, in the beginning, as they become more active, they're trying to deal with the problem. But if the organ system has been dealing with these stressors for a time, well, they may have slipped into what's called hypofunctioning, where the body is not functioning well enough to deal with the stressors anymore. Now you have the case of the suddenlies actually manifest a symptom at this stage of the game. Things that your body used to be able to handle, you're not handling anymore like you used to. The recovery time after a workout is not the same. You go and do things like you used to, playing a game of tennis, or maybe flag football, or you just go for a jog around the block. All of a sudden you feel like your low back gives out on you. Your knees start hurting. You get upper back pain. Things start happening that didn't used to happening. Well, that's a hypoactivity taking place in the body due to this reduced homeostatic mechanisms of balancing your system. Well, this leads to an altered psycho-neuro-immunological response. This mechanism starts breaking down. Well, let's break down the word. Psycho is emotional, neuro is nervous system, and immune system, immuno. Well, when you've got these three parameters start breaking down, you are finding more and more disease processes starting to manifest or unfold. Well, this is what happens. That altered psycho-neuro-immunological response mechanism then leads up to become another stressor, which feeds into the other stressors that are in your life, like poor food quality, or food allergies, or metal or chemical toxicity, or environmental issues with drinking water, air pollution, etc. The list is long of things that cause problems for people. But when you compound all this stuff together, now you get really involved in a web of disease processes taking shape. The common medical approach in this core physiological principle leads to symptoms that you weren't genetically born with, like fatigue. You weren't fatigued as a baby. You were energetic. Headaches. You'll ask any crowd of people that I've ever taught, no one ever raises their hand and said, I had a headache when I was a baby. Digestive complaints, hormonal changes, mood swings, sleep issues, skin problems. These are all check engine lights that should drive you to make an appointment with us so that we can find out what is going on as your body mechanic. We can tell you where the deficiencies are taking place and what you can do to balance these things out. Well, if this process of symptoms takes place long enough, chronic progression of this disease manifests. Now fatigue turns into fibromyalgia, or headaches turns into migraines. Digestive complaints turns into IBS or reflux, gallstones even. Hormonal changes leads to hot flashes, night sweats, even the new craze of thyroid abnormalities going on, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, Graves' disease. Then you have mood swings. Well, that could be tied into the hormonal response as well. You get insomnia progressed out of sleep issues. And then your skin problems progress into more serious eczemas or psoriasis issues. What we have seen is the medical intervention then uses drugs and surgery as a key framework to fix these problems. And what we have found is all that does is lead to an early death. And unfortunately, it doesn't give you the quality of life that you hoped for. You see, it's more like painting over rust. It has a place. I'm not saying it doesn't, but what I'm saying is that we should exercise more balanced approaches as a first line of defense before we progress into drugs and surgery. Because by the time you get into drugs, medications, and surgeries, you're on your way down, not on your way up, and living a life full of energy, full of vitality, and full of life. You're leading more to a life that is not functionally what any of us want to go through, as we've seen loved ones pass away due to unfortunate processes, and they didn't have a good quality of life on the back end of their time here. Well, as the functional medicine doctor that I am, we want to show you a different approach, and that approach basically is this. We do nutrient repletion or target tissue rebuilding. This is what we call upstream medicine. By going upstream, we balance and increase glandular function. So where you see glandular fatigue and imbalance, we increase glandular activity, bringing strength and resilience back to the body. Instead of having depletion of the organ reserves, we start seeing a repletion of the organ reserves and a restored adaptive mechanism. Now your body has the ability to detox the chemicals that you're getting exposed to. Your body has the ability to deal with infection that it's exposed to day in and day out. And this increased organ reserve, now it's got like a safety net or a savings bank account where your body has the ability to go through a stress response, deal with the stress response, and then make a withdrawal on the organ reserve to rebuild itself and to repair itself so that next time it gets exposed to that stress, it's ready and it's not already weak. Well, this leads to an enhanced physiology. This increases your personality. This enhances your functionality here on Earth. And this allows you to live a more vibrant, more productive, more balanced life. And this is what we want for you as parents. This is what I want for you as a career-oriented person. This is what I want for you as as people influencing each other in marriage and relationships. This is why I believe that so many people we're seeing divorce in such high mass, because people are sick. And when people are sick, they're not going to be fun to be around. And over time, that becomes a poison to people. And people just give up. People that are glandular fatigued don't have a hope that allows them to move forward. They get stuck in a rut, and that rut just overtakes them. Well, even in the nutrient replenishment world, as a functional medicine doctor, you're still going to pass away. But it basically leads to a more impactful departure. You've left a legacy. Hopefully you've been an impact to your spouse. You've impacted your children in a positive way. You've impacted a business or a career in a positive way. And you left your mark here on earth. And you've done what God has called you to do. And that's what we're hoping to maximize here. That we can get the most out of the life that we've been given. This is the core physiological principle in a nutshell. Your body is going through things day in and day out, and most of the time it can deal with it. Sometimes it needs a little help because it gets overwhelmed. Just like you've experienced, you see a bunch of piles of stuff on your desk, and you're like, you don't know where to start. Or your car, it's all dirty. Well, people say clean up the floorboards, and the whole car will get clean. The people in the house cleaning world say that if you clean up your kitchen sink, your whole house will get clean. Well, this is the same thing, but what we're doing is we're going in and we're rebuilding the foundation of your health, and we're starting to see the whole body restructure and rebalance out and improving the quality of life that people are looking for today. This is some additional information that we wanted to share with you guys, as we just want you to know that we're here to serve you in any way that we can. We want you to follow us on facebook.com/justlivewell. We want you to sign up for our monthly newsletter. You get 2 newsletters a month. They're very short, sweet, and to the point. They are not long, tedious emails. They're designed to give you just a pearl of wisdom to make a better choice 2 times a month. Sign up for our Design Life programs. We want you to become a patient. We're here to serve you for a lifetime. Not just you, but your family, your friends, your kids, your loved ones, people that you're around. And then we just wanted to share a few patient testimonials about how we were able to support a man's immune system going through a chronic infection that he typically gets every year. And he was blown away that he did not need medication in order to beat his yearly bout of infection that he got into. And then another patient diagnosed with PCOS. Well, if you've ever know anything about PCOS or know a person that has PCOS, there's a lot of symptoms that go along with it, like acne, the mood swings, hair loss, excessive facial hair problems, weight gain. And this is an unfortunate thing that we have seen working with patients. As it progresses, we try to get people to realize that in the beginning, when the symptoms are there, disease is easy to fix, but it's hard to recognize because it doesn't have a diagnosable name. By the time it gets to a disease state like PCOS, it's easy to recognize, but a little harder to fix, and it takes time. Well, we were able to bring relief and help support this body through the process of functional medicine, upstream medicine, and rebuilding the foundation through the pillars of health. We hope that you enjoyed this lecture today, and we hope that you contact us soon in any health issue that you have. Thank you, and my name is Dr. Aaron Chapa. Bye-bye.